So not very lost is that in the next 15 months or so, we are going to elections. So you must not only talk about something, you must also be seen to be doing something. So if you as a governing party can't be seen to be doing something, so certainly, and I can tell you now, when you listen to what South Africans are saying, the electricity issue may break or make the ANC. And I guess the president is very much aware of that. He's just been given with a renewed mandate. What do you do with it?
The thing is, Mzwai, there's also this issue that he talks about, which is damage to public infrastructure. He talks about how police have clamped down on cable theft. Yet we saw not so long ago, Baragwanath at the hospital, there was somebody who went into a protected space using an access card and cut off a copper cable. We saw the same thing in the Eastern Cape. We still do not know who used their access card to access that room at Bara.
Can I one-up you?
Yeah.
There was a video that was doing the rounds on social media a few weeks ago from Reiche Park in Ekurhuleni,
next to the police station.
In front of the police station, in broad daylight, people went and literally cut out the cable in front of the police station.
So which part is the clamping down then? Because I was listening to one of those reacting saying it was in some parts out of touch with reality.
That is why I have spoken about enforcement. So why do you allow that to happen in front of the law enforcement officers? So if you allow that situation, so what about me, who is as ordinary as they come? So what am I going to do?
What law enforcement is why? Let's be honest. On a daily basis, you would witness someone transgressing, breaking the law right in front of a police officer, and nothing happens. This is the reality that we live with as South Africans. So the system is broken. At some point, we're going to have to acknowledge that, and it's not easy. And in that sense, I sympathize with the president because it is so broken. It's not easy to pinpoint, okay, where do I start? What do I fix first? I'm going to fix electricity because people are crying about it. It's inconvenient. It's becoming another albatross, for the nation around our necks. But everything else is equally broken.
I think this is what is needed. I think for whoever is in charge, well, in this instance, is the ANC and President Ramaphosa, is the political will. You can't only be speaking about, I will do this, I will do this. It's about time that those things that are spoken about are done. In fact, how do you start, Sakina? You start with the small ones, with the basic ones. If fixing the potholes is a struggle, for example, we've been complaining about the trucks on the R34 that are going to Richards Bay, so which have become a national problem. So you need those railways to be fixed, and that's where people will say, okay, we can see something.
No. But the problem is why? Yeah. The problem is, why did you allow that infrastructure to be completely decimated to begin with? Why was that allowed? And then you can't blame people when they come up with all sorts of conspiracy theories, because those railway stations were stripped bare.
Well, I think he will then say state capture. You remember how just about everything sometimes is being blamed on what state capture did. It hollowed out the system, and you look at what happened to PRASA, even ESCOM, and so many other parastatals. Given that that did happen, and then of course he said we must never allow that situation to happen again, I guess that's where they'll put the blame on.
So this is a precursor then in the coming days of what the viewers can expect as we dissect this particular State of the Nation address, because we've run out of time.
One more.
They're telling us we've run out of time.
Just one more. The board, what the minister had to say there. And that was quite interesting, because President Ramaphosa has received already from Parliament the names that have already been vetted for the SABC board. Parliamentarians have concurred these are the names to be appointed to that position. President hasn't hasn't done so. What does the minister say? She says that the finance minister and herself have designated the SABC CEO to carry out the functions.
The board,
the question is, how long? And why, more importantly?
You know what was interesting, Sakina, before you come in? The fact that she didn't mention the legal issues that her deputy mentioned earlier, to say these are some of the legal issues that the president is dealing with. So we don't know.
In fact, when that board had been completed, you know, something that is not usual happened. There were 3 more names that were put as, I don't know whether as in the event any of those ones declined or whatever happens. Why was that done? It's a question.
Interesting. Thank you so much for keeping us company, Mzwai. We appreciate it. It was great.
It's been great.
It's really been great.
Thank you very much.
And viewers, you can expect that, you know, various shows throughout the SABC, we will be looking very closely at aspects of the State of the Nation address, Sakina, and looking at whether or not South Africans can continue to be as resilient as they say we are.
Absolutely. And of course, again, it's going to be up to South Africans, you know, to ultimately decide whether they will continue to do what they always do, or whether they will basically rise up and demand more accountability from our elected representatives.
And from us here outside the Cape Town City Hall, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for keeping us company. It's back to you in studio.
If we can issue social bonds for the dedicated empowerment of African women, imagine what we can do for you. Standard Bank, it can be. Stories that connect us, conversations that inspire us, voices that move us forward, at home, on every journey and every destination. SABC, everywhere for everyone, always.
Labor-related